And welcome to our January 20th special meeting of the Daytona Beach Community Redevelopment Agency. We are delighted to have each of you with us tonight. At this time, I'm going to ask that Ms. LaMagna review the procedures for tonight's meeting.
Good evening. Agendas are available in the front of the room on the table to my right. All of the exhibits pertaining to items on the agenda are posted on the bulletin board. Please feel free to view the exhibits at any time during tonight's meeting. You are required to fill out a blue form to speak before the Community Redevelopment Agency. The blue forms are located next to my assistant, Ms. Allison Brown. You must complete the sections that ask for your name, address, topic of concern, agenda item number, signature, and date. The form must be completed and placed in the designated box located next to Ms. Brown. You will not be allowed to speak if your form is not placed in the designated box. Item number 6A is your opportunity to address the CRA concerning any item on tonight's agenda that is not scheduled as a public hearing, or you may address the CRA on any issue that is not on the agenda. Resolutions under administrative item number 7 are open for public comments, and you may fill out the blue form to speak when that item is called. All citizens completing a blue form will be allowed to speak for 2.5 minutes. When you approach the lectern, please speak clearly into the microphone and give your full name and address. The 2.5-minute clock on the monitor above and directly in front of you will start running when you begin to speak. Please pay close attention to your time. You will be told when your time has expired. Disorderly conduct in the public meeting of the City Commission. Article 2, Section 6238 of the City Code of Ordinances reads as follows. It shall be unlawful for any person to behave in a riotous or disorderly manner in any public meeting of the City Commission or any committee, agency, or board thereof, or to cause any unnecessary disturbances therein by force, shouting, or any other action that is calculated to disrupt such meetings, or to refuse to obey any ruling of the presiding officer or such meeting to the relative to the orderly process thereof. All conversation must take place either at the lectern or at the dais so that everyone can hear the business being discussed tonight.
Ms. LaMagna, may we have a roll call?
Commissioner Henry.
Here.
Commissioner Reed.
Here.
Commissioner Traeger.
Here.
Commissioner Woods.
Here.
Commissioner White. Here. Commissioner Gilliland.
Here.
Mayor Derrick Henry.
Here. We will now have the invocation led by Commissioner Reed, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Henry. Please rise for the invocation and pledge.
Let us pray. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I thank you, O God, that once again we come before your throne and we say thank you. We thank you for all that you've done, all that you're doing, and all that you shall do for this great city of Daytona Beach. We ask that as the leaders of this city that we would do our best in making decisions on behalf of our citizens and our visitors. We ask this in the precious name of Jesus. Let us all say, Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will now move on to item number 4A. It is the approval of the minutes of the December 16, 2015 regular meeting and the January 6, 2016 special meeting of the Community Redevelopment Agency.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Gilliland and a second by Commissioner Traeger. Do we have any questions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Likes not opposed, same sign. This motion passes 7-0. We'll now move on to item number 5. This is our agenda approval. If there are any changes, our city manager will address them at this time.
There are no changes, Mayor.
I have a motion by Commissioner Gilliland and a second by Commissioner Reed. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign, opposes. This motion passes 7-0.
We will now move on to item number 6. This is public comments by people addressing the Community Redevelopment Agency. During this time, citizens have the opportunity to address the Community Redevelopment Agency on any matter that is not on the agenda. Our first speaker is John Nicholson, and on deck is Pastor Mike Pastore.
John Nicholson, 413 North Grandview Avenue, Daytona Beach. 3 items, 2 of which are not going to be able to be spoken of in the regular meeting, so I'm going to cram them in here. The first, however, I'd like to speak about the clock tower. Why are we not going out for funds from either ECHO or a Racing and Rec or something else, saving money in the CRA to do things that are needed in the CRA, like repairs, lots and lots of repairs. I understand that there are commissioners that say we no longer have any tourists coming into our city. However, those of us that live on beachside see them all the time. We just had tons of girls for an event. We have them all the time. So we are a tourist town. We do rely on it. The businesses rely on it. So I'm asking you to maintain that area, especially the core area, to the best of our ability. And if we don't use the funds that we can get and we waste them, we're going to lose the ability to maintain our property to the best quality that they expect of us. Secondly, with regard to the race, you know that Jim and I don't get along, but I don't want him to be painted for something that he has no control over. One, there's a large portion of our employees that have been here for 20, 30, 40 years. There's somebody I looked in the thing that made $100,000 that's been here since '79. Shirley's been here since 18-something. So they've been around a long, long time, and their hiring had nothing to do with him. So we should look, when you talk about hiring, who he hired when he was here. It affects us over on the beach side because it gives us a negative image, and that hurts our tourism. So the truth has to come out, and you have to look at it in a qualified way. We have an exceptionally large number of HUD housing, which are an exceptionally disproportionate number of blacks. We use that against him. We have a black college. We use those numbers against him. We have police and fire, which are a disproportionate number of our employees are police and firemen. We use those numbers against him. It is not easy to get a black fireman. I think there's one in the course, and there are like 27 municipalities trying to get him. He's going to go where he can get the most money. It's not fair to judge our police or fire or Jim on things that are not part of their control.
Our next speaker is Pastor Mike Pastore, and on deck is Marjorie Johnson.
Good evening, Pastor Mike Pastore, 400 Fremont. Homeless advocate, but I'm here to speak on behalf of affordable workforce housing. I believe we have a dearth of affordable workforce housing in this community, and housing is more than Minto communities or condos at the Hard Rock. Okay, it's the people work in hospitality, the people that work at the Speedway. There's people, a lot of these minimum wage jobs that we seem to attract. These people need to live somewhere. Before you is a summary of the concept. Mr. Harvey Vengroff contacted me through an intermediary and asked, because of what I do with the social service agencies, and asked me to assist with agencies in filling 85 rooms. And I said, well, if this happens, I can assure you there would be a waiting list. All right, what we're talking about is the Heritage Inn on South Ridgewood. Okay, that is a well-known problem. And Mr. Vengroff has been successful in converting motels into efficiency apartments for people that are up against it, have a hard time keeping housing and so on. There is Volusia property owners and all that. It seems like they want to put up more and more and more roadblocks for people to get into. If you have a checkered employment history, eviction history, if you can't come up with a security deposit, then Harvey will take a chance on people, and that's a big key to his success. And he has professional management. He's made an offer to Mr. Patel. They're getting close. Okay, so when we go to, it's anticipated they're going to go to contract with a contingency on planning and zoning approval. And I'm just here to say this guy should be opened. He should be welcomed with open arms. Okay, that's the bottom line. He should be welcomed with open arms. I've spoken briefly with Commissioner Traeger. It's in her zone. She has the packet in front of her. We've got case studies and references and so on. And I urge you to welcome Mr. Vengroff when he does make his appearance here. Thank you.
Our final speaker is Marjorie Johnson.
Marjorie Johnson, 122 South Peach Street. I'd just like to say that I was up on Beach Street today talking with the homeless people. You finally put some porta potties outside. Took you a while to get that done. And then there's rumors circulating that you're going to do some arrests because the bankers are coming to town, and the race people, you want them out from up there. Well, that is county property. The property doesn't belong to the city. Joshua Wagner has been doing outstanding work trying to get some things done while you sit here and did nothing. All this time you've been in office, Patrick Henry, going on your second term, nothing has been done to help the homeless. Pam, you've been here several terms. Nothing has been done. You've come Johnny come lately, and I'm not satisfied. I'm satisfied with what the county is doing. Yes, they were the one that gave us the property out here, the road out here, so you could finally pave Orange Avenue. You're arguing with the people at the county. You need to stop it. Do your work. The Constitution of the United States says we the people. And you sit here like you own the city. You don't own the city. You're servants of the people. You need to do your work. I'm also very disgusted with what happened with Ronald Durham. You did not put that job out for bidding. It should have been put out for bidding. So the best person, he does not live in the city of Daytona. He lives in Daytona. Just because he and his wife worked on your campaign, Derek, we don't want people giving favors to people who are not qualified for the job. He does not have a good rapport with the community. There are a lot of people that have no use for him because he's abused a lot of people in this community. Also, Jim and I don't get along. Jim have had city workers to try to set me, the former president of NAACP, in the back of the room. At the Martin Luther King banquet, Derek, under your leadership, Paula Reed and Patrick Henry. We do not want disorderly conduct of public officials toward these people. You're out of order, Derek. When you sit here and tell people that they can't speak at this podium and ask questions, and you let Sandy from Tallahassee come up here and ask questions of the city manager. And you and Pam answer her questions. Answer all our questions. Make your job happen.
For the record, there is a reason that there is a little note at the bottom of the screen that goes up there that discusses the accuracy of the comments from those who speak at the dais. You have anything, Mr. Manager?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I just want to make one thing clear. The hiring of Pastor Durham was solely the responsibility of me as a city manager, and as you know, I'm the only one that does the hiring of employees of the city. It had nothing to do with the mayor or anybody else on this commission.
And that was our final speaker, Mr. Mayor. Now move on to administrative items. Item number 7. It's the First Amendment to the Daytona Beach Convention Hotel and Condominiums Utility and Offsite Improvement Agreement, the Proto Group Resolution. A resolution approving the First Amendment to the agreement with Proto Group, Inc., the City of Daytona Beach, and the Community Redevelopment Agency, providing for reimbursement of construction costs for certain public improvements in connection with development of a convention hotel and condominiums on property located at 422 and 500 North Atlantic Avenue, a portion of which is within the Main Street redevelopment area, authorizing the mayor as the CRA chair and the city clerk to execute the First Amendment and providing an effective date.
We have a motion by Commissioner Gilliland and a second by Commissioner Henry. Do we have any questions or speakers?
I do have one speaker, Mr. Mayor, John Nicholson.
John Nicholson, 413 North Grandview Avenue. About 12, 15 years ago, I was talking to Bob Davis from the Hotel Motel Association with regard to getting or trying to get a 4 or 5 star hotel into the city of Daytona Beach. He said that we would never get a 4 or 5 star hotel in the city of Daytona Beach. There's a possibility of, 3? One of which is on the corner of my street. They're here now asking for waivers. What I'm asking you to do is do everything humanly possible to allow them to build in the fashion they want to. If they need a loan, do what we can to give them whatever money we can. We lost thousands of hotel rooms in 2004. It is killing us on the beach side not to have the bodies that were in those hotel rooms at our shops and restaurants. So we need those hotel rooms. The Weston's going in, but as you know, the Weston's almost, 10 blocks, 15 blocks away from down Main Street. We need something close. If they need money for that parking garage, I'm asking you to either float a loan, get a bond, or whatever it is to do what is required. Secondly, to beautify that area. I'm sorry, I know I keep hitting that all the time, but everybody expects a certain quality. Go to Disney. They spend an extreme amount of money keeping the area clean, and people associate clean and neat with safe. They associate lighting with safety. There's 24 lights out in the area? It doesn't take much to put the lighting. There's 13 floodlights on the boardwalk, 2 of which are out. There are dozens of other lights on the boardwalk out. The little footlights, the little cigarette lights, the little up lights on the trees. It doesn't take much to maintain our property, and we're not doing it. So for this property and for others, I'm asking you to take the time and the money to see that we have a well-maintained and an attractive-looking beachside for our visitors and for our businesses. Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. All those in
Is Mr.
favor?
Reed going to give a presentation?
Who?
Reed Berger?
Oh, you would like Mr. Berger to?
I'd like to ask him a couple
Excuse
questions.
me, we haven't acknowledged you, ma'am. Please.
We have my
Okay,
paper.
just have a seat.
We're going to have
please.
staff presentation first.
Okay.
May I ask you a question? Why are they building the garage first?
It's a financing issue for them. That if they're going to put their money in first, and that's what the banks, the people who are financing, are requiring of the applicant. And the applicant representative is here right now and could probably answer that question for you a little more detail than I could if you need that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Clay Irvin with Zev Cohen and Associates, 330 Interchange Boulevard, Ormond Beach, Florida, 32174. What you're seeing is that the financing package is tied into making sure that they have enough capital, be it not only money, cash flow, and their pro forma, but also basically the land and the structure. That's going to help stabilize for the loan for the hotel. That way they can get both of them going, hopefully within the next 12 months. I can tell you they are trying to push to get this forward as fast as they can. I wouldn't be surprised tomorrow if they're sitting out front waiting for the building permit for the garage. The main reason this is happening this way is that the financing for the condo, because it's a residential, is based on takedown of contracts, and that would have slowed down the financing for the hotel. So they had to split the financing from the condominium from the hotel. The people who are doing the financing for the hotel wanted them to show that they had progress and that they were going forward. So it's a sign of good faith and commitment.
What are they going to do with the garage while the hotel's being built?
Well, again, our goal is to have the hotel going not months and months away, almost immediately after. Right now, it's just a matter of making sure we get the permits going, get the land cleared, get it going, get it stabilized, and hopefully at that point we'll be able to have concurrent construction going on so that way there won't be a lag time. If there is a lag time between the garage being completed and the hotel being completed, right now there's no plans other than just letting it sit there until it can be utilized for the hotel.
They would not be renting it out to anybody?
No, ma'am, that's not been identified as the option. Again, their main goal is to get it going fast so they can sit there and show that it's good faith towards those who are making the loan for the...
How many stories is the parking garage going to be?
It's no different than the plan that was originally approved. I believe it's a 4-story, or I can't remember the exact amount of stories, but six, right. I'm sorry.
And they're now 3 years into that project?
Beg your pardon?
They're now 3 years into the project?
Yes, ma'am. It's been a while. Well, I can tell you we've been working on it since 2011, and initially they thought that they were going to be able to get a lending package that would be able to allow them to accelerate through that. Unfortunately, they're now having to look at other options, and this is the best that they could get right now.
What happens, is the financing guaranteed for the hotel after the garage is built?
That is my understanding.
Because it seems like it's taking so long.
Yes, ma'am.
And, it's we see plans come before us and oh wow, we're going to do it. And 3 years later, the only thing that's been is the motel's been demolished.
And I can tell you this much, they share your same frustration.
But you are confident they will live up to this time frame.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions for Reed?
That's basically what I needed to know.
Thank you.
Okay. I did have Miss Marjorie Johnson sign up for this item.
Come forth, please, Ms. Johnson.
Marjorie Johnson. I just like to say, I do see on TV where they have that going across there about the facts. And I like to say to
Ms.
you
Johnson,
all
excuse
that
me.
you all need to make sure that when these people come in this city to get things built, that there's not a lag time. That has been happening quite often. I'm sitting in these meetings, and I've seen that happen. So that means you need to get on your job, Derek. You need to make sure this work is getting done. We don't want the same thing to happen that happened with the fire chief. It took you a whole year. You need to be more conscious of time in getting the job done. If you can't do it, you need to vacate the city. That goes for everyone else that's sitting here. I'd just like to say that I'm not happy when I look around and see these people coming before this commission saying that they want to build these hotels, and then it's taken them years and years. 2011, that's a long time. The job should have been finished. It should have been finished. What is taking so long? And the city manager, you're making all this money, over $70-some thousand. You need to make sure that that work is getting done. That's what we pay you to do, and we want the job done. As I look around here, and I agree with Ms. Traeger, I'm glad that we have someone up here who is concerned about this work getting done. You sit here and praise yourself like you're doing such a good job. We know your one vision, one city is a big failure. Thank you.
That was our final speaker, Mr. Mayor.
We have a motion and we have a second. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Likes not opposed, the same sign. This motion passes 7-0. Do we have any comments from the commission regarding the CRA meeting? Okay, we will take a brief break, 5 minutes, and we will reconvene our regularly scheduled meeting at 6:30 sharp. This meeting is adjourned.